Colton. I'm the head detailer at Clear Detailing. So how I got into cars is my entire family has been into cars for pretty much their entire life. My grandfather and uncle had a speed shop in Pueblo, Colorado, and they built these beautiful cars behind us here. So I got into detailing probably 6 years ago. A buddy of mine came over with basically a crate full of towels and too many products to even count. I thought he was absolutely insane at the time, and I remember the first time we washed one of my old Minis and we did a slight paint correction on it and everything like that, and since then I've pretty much been hooked on having the cleanest cars possible. So the turning point for detailing cars and everything just kind of stemmed from you want your cars to look good. You don't want them to be all trashed and everything. And ever since then, we've just always started taking care of our cars a totally different way.
I think it was kind of a step-by-step process. At first, we were taking care of the street rods. We went to car shows, taking care of my father-in-law's car and making them look shiny, and everybody's around there dusting their cars. And we realized as we progressed through this that a lot of things we were causing damage to the cars. So you take a microfiber, you wipe a car, you take a California car duster, you wipe a car, and it's just putting micro scratches all over it. Then we started learning and understanding. We started following some detailers on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and we realized there was a whole new realm to this detailing business. So perfection has driven to where we are today. Well, I think Colton's got a passion for detailing to perfection, and he worked at a couple other places, and that just wasn't his gig. I mean, to work at a grocery store, rounding up carts in the snowstorm in the parking lot, that just didn't suit him. I mean, he was driven to run his own business. He was taking steps, even though he didn't realize it at the time, to build the business. And when it came to a point where we were actually working with a car dealership in Fort Collins, that's when it all clicked. So one day we went to a car show there. They asked, why don't you stop by and see what you think? And the person that we made contact with wasn't there. We left a business card on his desk, and we got a call a couple of days later and say, I got a project for you. They had a new car that had some damage on the paint, scratched up, water spotting, and they were thinking about getting the car repainted. So he says, I got a challenge for you. He said, let's see what you guys can do. We brought that car back. Certainly it was a black car, so you can see everything in the paint. Brought the car back. Colton did his magic on it. We took it back, and they were blown away, actually.
I think the point that first car we did for Ed Carroll, after I took that back, and it's you have somebody else really look at your work that's been in the industry for a long time, and they go, "You're a magician." That was kind of the aha moment that I could actually do this for a living. And literally 2 days later, I quit my other job and said, okay, let's do this full time. But yes, since that first car, it was definitely kind of an opening to a whole new world of detailing and everything else. So.
I think at first, when we first started, Colton had me on a buffer. He was showing me a couple of techniques, and I felt pretty confident with the buffer. I think now he is so far past me, and he's mixing different compounds that will work on certain paints. And we have a saying, and it started out, every car has a story. And you don't know what that story is. You don't know what that vehicle's been through, how it's been treated, what's in the environment that's been on that paint, the whole thing. So when you get a car, it's step one, and Colton has designed a process to where he identifies what the car needs. You don't want to go overboard on these because these cars have to last people a long time. What we want to do is treat them as gently as we can. Put a coating on it is the best way to go. We're using a lot of some of the SiO2 coatings that are out there, and that helps protect the clear coat to where you're not wearing it down, but you're building on it, and it gives you that high gloss that everybody's looking for.
Clear detailing, the name at least, kind of just, it came about as it was kind of cleaning cars type of deal, and kind of my whole philosophy on doing paint corrections and everything was like that was between clarity, clearness, kind of like you rate a diamond. So we just went over to the Audi dealership, Audi Porsche dealership. We picked up a 2018 Panamera Turbo. So what we're going to be doing on this entire car is essentially going through it inside and out, perfecting the paint, treating the paint, cleaning through going through the wheels and cleaning them, as well as going through the interior, because it does have a lighter interior. So from the beginning, we always start off with a wash process that is safe. That consists of a 2-bucket wash, foam cannon, and different products like that that work together to reduce marring on the paint. From there, we'll go to a decontamination process, which is essentially claying the paint. With claying, there's a lot of misconceptions of what it actually does. And the clay is basically a tool for us to be able to cut the paint properly and finish it out properly. If we're not removing all the surface contamination, then we're going to be putting that back onto the paint during the buffing cycle. From there, basically it's an exterior detail to get the car prepped for the compound and polish process, which then preps for the coatings. So now that we've got the paint decontaminated, we've got the windows clayed, we'll then start and go with a compounding process, which is basically removing any deep scratches. Any marks like that are going to come out in the compounding process, and that process is a little more aggressive on the paint, so it's going to haze it a little bit, which moves us into the next portion, which is polishing, or as a lot of people call it, jeweling. So when we're jeweling the paint, what we're doing is essentially removing any scratching that came from the compounding process. So you'll see a light haze on there, and it's going to add a lot of gloss. So now that the paint is absolutely flawless, we're going to go ahead and coat. One of the hardest things with coatings is understanding how long it takes for the coating to cure on there. If you leave it on too long, then you have to go back and repolish the entire car. All right, so on this Panamera, we had a little bit of a challenge with the wheels. They're gloss black wheels. So traditionally, you would clean the wheels while you're washing the vehicle. But being that they are gloss black, I decided to go ahead and just take them off. This ensured that I was able to properly take them off, clean them inside and out with a wash mitt instead of using brushes and scratching them. So we had to pull each wheel off. We took them outside, cleaned them up, and brought them back in the shop. And from there, we went ahead and used the C-quartz that we did on the paint. We basically create a barrier for the wheel to be protected from brake dust. So it's not going to be, it's going to be an easy maintenance on the wheel. So traditionally on a light interior, you're gonna get some, if you wear a lot of jeans, you can get dye transfer from your jeans. So on this Panamera Turbo, it has a really light gray interior. So what we went ahead and did is we cleaned all the leather surfaces and then protected them with a leather serum, which is essentially another coating layer for leather though. So it's allowed to be breathable and expand and contract with the seat.
Well, a lot of these products, they are very good at repelling dust. So you coat it on there, the dust doesn't gather as much as it would if it was untreated. And then you got the UV protection in it as well. And then the color transfer doesn't affect the leather in the same manner if it was uncoated.
So what is detailing? I definitely think detailing has a lot of different meanings. And with that, there's a lot of different detailers. I definitely would call myself a very high-end detailer, going above and beyond expectations of customers. Pretty much every time we do a car for a customer, we always like to go above and beyond, do something that they didn't expect, or just give them quality service that they might not have got somewhere else. I think one of the hardest things is people consider detailing as car washing. That's one aspect of it. It's, that's the cleaning aspect. But what about the correcting and protecting part? That's what sets us alone from other detailers, is you go the extra mile, you do what's right for the car. A lot of guys will blow through a car in 20, 30 minutes. That's fine. And that's definitely needed in the industry, but I'm gonna spend 30 hours on a car, because if that's what it takes to get it right, then that's what it takes. Oh, working with my dad is great. I mean, it's been such a rewarding experience. This guy's a mentor to me. I mean, for me, it's not just going into work every day. I get to spend time with my dad, and for me, that means more than anything. We've always been into cars together, tearing apart suspensions and tuning cars and all this crazy stuff. It's just really rewarding to be able to do it with a family member and a friend like I have.
Well, I tell you, he started with this dream, and at first I was a little concerned about it, that he's probably going to have a big letdown because we weren't able to get to that point where he wants it. And now I'm a true believer. The things that he's accomplished, I'm extremely proud. I think his college education helped him immensely. And then with me and my business background, and certainly he calls his older brother to get advice, because it seems like him and his brother are very entrepreneurial in what they do. And it's an exchange of ideas. It's, what do you think about this? I haven't thought about that, and here's where I think I'm going to take it. So for a parent, I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, It's really cool watching the development, the thought process, and I think the biggest thing that just really surprised me was his approach to ethics. I mean, he is 100% ethical in how he approaches everything, and I really like that. I mean, it's really missing in business today, but this guy's got it, and that is so cool, and his passion for perfection. Sometimes it drives me crazy, and I got to turn around and I got to get out of the shop because he's back there just ranting and raving about this isn't good enough, and I'm not gonna, that's unacceptable, and to me it looks fine, but it isn't for him. So that's the really cool part about how he approaches business.